Hello, wonderful people. Good evening, and you are welcome to my YouTube page again. It's such an excitement to come your way with this session. Um, if this is your first time joining this page, I would really encourage you to just like this page, subscribe, send us a message. We'll do all to respond. We are trying very best to tailor this page to suit the needs of law students. So if you are a law student, you're having any challenges with any of your courses, just get in touch, send us a message, and then we'll do very well to help you do that. So today we are dealing with, and then again, I'm Francis Ohimen Anane, and yes, really, that's me. Good. So today we are talking about a very important topic. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and based on my personal experience and then the experience of many colleagues, I've just decided to put this together. So this would be one of many sessions that we would have. I mean, it just doesn't make sense that mistakes that we made when we're law students should be repeated by you. The whole essence of learning is that you don't make such mistakes. So we hope that you find this very short session interesting, and possibly you would pick a point or two from it. So the fundamental question is, why are you studying law now? Because of what I've been doing, with the teaching assistant bit and the tutorial bit, and because of the background that I have in tutoring, I normally do get some of my students who now want to do law asking me, "Oh, Sir Francis, I want to do law. University of Ghana entrance exams. How does it work? GIMPA, how does it work? KNUST, all the likes. How does it work?" And the first question I always ask them is, "Why do you want to study law?" And they always go like, "Because I want to help the society." I mean, I know Prof. Kumado would laugh at some of these answers. I'm sure when we were also preparing to get into the law school, we had all these interesting ideas. I want to help society. I can't stand for injustice. All those very interesting ideas as to why some folks wanted to study law, but deep down within them, the the ambition was really different. Because I mean, once you pass out, once you are called to the bar, somehow, all the generosity that you had for the society seems to evaporate. It seems that you see, somehow the law school has a way of deciding or changing your focus on why you entered into the whole profession. I mean, I know I'm making this interesting, but it's a serious matter. But all that I'm just trying to say is that, why are you studying the law? Are you studying the law because you fancy the suit, like the suit I'm wearing? I mean, it has now become more like a second behavior, or a second nature, I should say. Or is it because of the wig? Is it because of the gown? Is it because of the language? You don't want to be bullied? Is it because of the money? Because clearly that idea that I want to help the society, I want to help women, I want to help children, always doesn't seem to be the truth. Because you are called to the bar, and then your focus changes entirely. I'm not saying it's always the case. Probably, going through the law school, you fell in love with a certain course, so your whole, even with that, should the foundation change that much? I still don't believe that the foundation should change that much. So if you're a law student, it's still, I mean, the simple question I'm asking you is that, why are you studying it? Because you'll be surprised that now maybe in the next session. So then again, I'm still asking, why do you want to study law? Now, even before, I mean, we even continue with, and I'm sure most of you have heard this, that the legal profession is the noble profession and not a noble profession. So maybe for you, you are joining the legal profession because you want to be part of the noble profession and not just a noble profession. But folks, there's more to it than what is seen on the outside. especially with the dynamics that is happening in almost every profession. It just cannot be the appearance of it, because then you'll be surprised and you'll be shocked and you will wonder, is this the profession that I ideally wanted to be part of? I'm not in any way saying that or I'm not in any way discouraging you from joining the legal profession. I'm just saying that let's be realistic about our goals and our reasons for joining the legal profession. For me, it's still one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. It's not a decision I would ever regret, but I'm just saying that make that same or have that same confession after you come up out of the profession, so that you know, you don't become a frustrated lawyer, you don't start, abusing clients, you don't start in mismanaging funds and all that, all because you had a certain perception about the legal profession and then you came in and it doesn't seem to be what it is. So that is what that I'm saying. I'm not in any way saying that you don't you need so normally you hear people saying, just even yesterday I had a very good friend telling me that he had always wanted to be a lawyer. I don't have anything against it, but why have you always wanted to be a lawyer? Is it because you needed one in the family, you saw one, one growing, or is it the authority or the ability to stand and possibly argue, or the quote and unquote the power it gives you, to deal with certain agencies and all that, possibly you are just tired as to how you are maltreated by the police and all that, and you feel once you become a lawyer they can't abuse you, or not even the police, certain state agencies, how you are treated and all that. So you understand that most of it are not the reason why people would want to study law really has nothing to do with humanity. But they go like, I want to study law because I want to help women, I want to empower women, I want to help girls, I want to. Anyway, let me just end it there. So I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. I'm sure you understand. And as I say, the legal profession really is changing. It's not what it used to be 50 years ago. Years past. I mean, there are certain cases you read and you wonder what the lawyers were doing. But back then, I mean, lawyers were, I mean, most of them were like demigods. They were untouchable. But now it's really no more the case. Now, if you don't handle a client's matter very well, the client moves on to another person. Clients are becoming smarter. They are becoming more demanding. They want to see the worth of work into the monies that they have given you. So things are actually really changing. Now, then again, even my very first point. Now there are many universities out there. My favorite University of Ghana School of Law, KNUST is there, GIMPA is there, Lancaster is there, Wisconsin is there, Central University. Which one am I missing? Mount Crest now doing very well. I mean, there are a host of universities out there. University of Cape Coast, excellent, law faculty. There are really a host of universities out there. And all these universities are churning out law graduates who would want to be lawyers. Meaning that the number of lawyers are growing by the year. Meaning that if you are coming into the profession, if you are now entering into the profession, you are in first year, second year, whatever year that you may be, you should be counting the years ahead of you. And remember that, lawyers are coming out every year, and now they are coming out more like 350. And in a year, you could have, say, 2 or 3 calls. So normally the main call in October, producing about 300 or, 300, normally not 400, 300, 350 or less. You have, mini calls here and there, producing like, let's say 10, 15, 20, some even more, 100 and the like. So the number of lawyers out there are growing, which then means that consumers or clients now have the option to pick and choose which lawyer they go to, which then also means that the legal profession would not be as fancy as you think, because then means that you would have to put in more work for you to be recognized. And as you know, as part of the code of ethics of the legal profession, you are not supposed to advertise and all that. So not like these big brands where they can go on radio and television and be doing all that. So it means that before it's most of the work is based on referrals. So you do a work for a client K is satisfied with your work, and then they refer you. Now, with the many lawyers coming out there, it means that the competition has to go up, because I mean, you have clients that have a pool of lawyers to choose from. They won't choose anybody. They would want the best. So more universities mean that more lawyers. Now then again, we have AIs, chats, GTP, and the like, all coming out, all coming to make the need for a lawyer. I mean, of course, there are so many arguments out there saying that artificial intelligence will not take over the work of the lawyer, or rather enhance them and all that. But the honest fact is that, of course, if one work needed to be done by 3 lawyers, now with the introduction of artificial intelligence, it could be done by 2 or even 1, because artificial intelligence will be assisting the person. That is really a fact, because you can't have artificial intelligence doing a work at a easier and a faster pace, and you will still want to keep on more lawyers. It would not make sense. I mean, I stand to be corrected. Maybe AI will do us, more good than harm. But of course, that is the reality now. Now, if you want an agreement, I mean, unless of course it's a very specialized and a very, a complicated one, you can just Google agreement for this, and you'll be surprised the options that pop up. I mean, the only difference is that you would not understand some of the clauses and then what they mean, and that is why you may need a lawyer in there. But clients are beginning to get more options, which means that if you are a law student watching me, or if you're even a lawyer, out there, which means that you would really need to up your game. You would really need to, show that you have something to bring to the table, else the clients won't come to you, because now the option seems to be very wide. So many investors out there, all producing lawyers. We have artificial intelligence. I mean, for Ghana, we are still exploring, the functionalities and the effects of artificial intelligence. Maybe we wait to see, maybe in the next 10 years to come, most of the fears that we may have around artificial intelligence may have died out, and it may actually be something good. But I mean, who knows? But that is a reason that if you're a law student, you should be considering. Now, then again, as I've said, this point, I won't even. Now, what are some of the things that you should know as a law student? So let's say, from all that I've said, you have decided that yes, I want to become a lawyer. So you've enrolled in any of the universities, or you are already in any of the universities, or possibly you're even at the Ghana School of Law, and either part 1 or part 2, waiting to become a lawyer. Guys, understand, the imposter syndrome is real. Now, in fact, I had to do a few research around some of these things, and I was shocked at the realities of some of the points. You are not the best. Get over yourself. It's really a fact. You are not the best. In law school, you are not the best. Get over yourself. I mean, you now, for me, going into law school, I had assumed that I was good. Yeah, I'm good. But I mean, I thought, yeah, but you go to law school and then you meet, cream de la cream. You meet guys who also believe that they are good. And in fact, they are good. So there's a tendency for you to feel belittled. You want to shrink into your hole, because you thought you were the local champion, and actually you are not that. You are not him. You are not her. They actually added that should not force you to shrink, because that is the reality of law school. There would always be a shark from Wesley Girls or Presec or from somewhere trying to tell you that, yeah, the guy is coming with 8s, or the lady has 10s or whatever. So it is real. Get over yourself. You cannot continue moping over the fact that, hey, and man, I didn't get an A, I didn't get a B. Yes, that is how it is. You'll be surprised. A paper that was the most difficult for you, someone will make an A. That is a fact. That is a fact. I mean, I was done. I think I think constitutional law and then taught. I mean, I had a grade, and I'm like, wow, I thought I had done well. And we all complained that it was difficult, but people actually made A's. Yeah. So that is really the reality in the law school. There are actually very good students out there. But that does not mean that you are not good enough. It just means that understand where you are and the kind of group that you have found yourself in. I mean, it is better you make use of that group than to cry and then belittle yourself. So why don't you join their study groups? You could learn a lot from study groups. So if you're a law student and you don't have a study group, I really don't know what you have to. But of course, it's not every study group that you should be joining. Of course, I mean, there are very good ones, and then there are the other study groups where all that they do is chat. No, don't join that study group. Join the very serious one. Now, then again, in law school, you would also have to share your opinion. You would really have to share your opinion. So if you are then again, the fact that you are a shy type does not mean you cannot be a lawyer. Far from that. I mean, the law has a way of bringing that aspect of you that you didn't even know. So if you're a shy type, it really doesn't matter. You'll be surprised what you can do until you actually push to the wall. So, but the honest fact is that you would be expected to talk. Because how then can you be one of the big guns out there that we always aspire to be. I mean, I don't want to mention names, but if you're in the legal fraternity, you know that there are actually some pretty good lawyers that when they speak in court, everybody keeps quiet and then hear what these persons have to say. I mean, there are fantastic men, fantastic women out there who really have the brains, and then they can just make an argument out of almost nothing. But ask you, how did they build this confidence, this ability to speak or know that? I mean, some of them may have been born with it, that's understood, but most of them, they picked it, they learned it from the law school. So you just cannot be in your shelf and think that you are doing yourself a favor. No, you are not. Come out, ask questions, raise your hand. I mean, ask all the questions, however silly it may be. That is how you build the confidence. That is how you'll be able to stand before a lawyer. Because the interesting thing is that even now we still have lawyers that appear before judges. I mean, of course, there are certain judges that even appearing before them is a big deal. But there are others that even the most friendliest of judges, they will still be fumbling them, they will still be shaking. It's just because they haven't built their confidence. And then you go in and it all started from the faculties because they were quiet, they won't take part in presentations, they are always in their shelf, they will not talk. How do you expect to build that competence? How do you expect to have that confidence to speak before a judge? You may have all the knowledge, you may have all the cases and all that, but if you don't express yourself, so you can have a very lazy lawyer who is not really prepared, but can actually argue on their feet, and such a lawyer would defeat you. Now, I use lazy in the context that the person may not have sat down or bend the midnight candle to put together cases and all that, but you would have done all that. But your inability to express yourself would make you lose either emotion on application or whatever it may be. So please, you just cannot be in your shelf, always, pushing the presentations to the others. Oh, you are the talkative, go and talk. You are not helping yourself. You're actually helping the other guys, because they will come out. They are not shy. They can speak in public. They can share their views without, any fear or trembling. And then boom, they are out there. Everybody is, chasing after them. So please, you're not doing yourself any favor if you are always hiding and all that. Maybe. And then again, I say all these things with caution, because maybe law school may not be the time for you to express yourself. Maybe yours would start from Ghana School of Law. Who knows? Maybe yours would be after practice. It will be at practice that you will really have the confidence to express yourself. Whatever it may be, I just hope that by the time you start practicing law, at least you have that minimum confidence to talk before, to express yourself, to put your thoughts together whilst you're standing on your feet, to actually make coherent arguments for judges to, agree with you on whatever points that you are making. I hope this point is really clear. Now, another point that I found, which was interesting, which I wish I knew back then, which is that use your studies to build your CV. I mean, I tell most of the guys, but they all don't seem to understand it. But I mean, can you blame them? I mean, they are students. I mean, they are yet to really experience the legal profession for themselves. So they don't really, cherish some of these points. But and sometimes I actually jealous, some of the law students who are actually doing exploit. Like the person is part of the law union, either the secretary, the person is the legal officer at the hall, whether Commonwealth Hall or any of the halls, and the person is the speaker for the SRC or the law union. The person is part of the moot. So by the time this guy completes law school, the CV the guy has built for himself, even though he hasn't practiced for that long, you know that this guy has developed himself. Compare that to the ordinary law student who has nothing except the grades. So you were never part of the moot. You didn't engage in all the moot competitions, K University. I think the other time I saw, was it from K University or UPSC? All the moods, competition that they have that form a firm, the argument, you are never part of any of them. The halls that you are residing, you never bothered to be either their legal officer, the JCR, and then the SRCs. Well, I don't even know if JCR are still in existence, at least for University of Ghana. I'm not even sure what the system now is. But assuming they are, you are never part of either the speaker for the JCR or the legal officer. You are never part of any of this. How? You just cannot be helping yourself. Really. I mean, especially if you are from level 100. Now for the post first degree law student, it's understandable. Even with that, if you're a post first degree law student where you are residing on campus, you have no excuse not to be part of any of this. How can you go, 3 years and you were never anything? I mean, during that time, we may be excused, but not your time. Not your time. And even for me, I'm not proud of that. What thought it was always about the books, the books. But we had some of our colleagues who were doing very well with the books. But then they were also part of these societies. The legal officers at the halls, at the SRC, they were part of the moods and all that. They were building their skills. So by the time this guy gets out, this guy has been to Geneva, they've been out there, they've gone for the mood competition. It doesn't matter whether they won or not, but then they have been out, they have exposed themselves. They send a very rich CV compared to the other guy who has really nothing except for the grades, no internship. And now imagine, even with the advent of the COVID coming in with the change of the calendar, making it almost impossible for students to have internship. How can you differentiate yourself from the others based on the earlier premise that I gave, based on the earlier premise where there are so many law students out there? How do you differentiate yourself? If you haven't, please start. You can start with a blog. Write something, do something. You just cannot go 4 years in law school and you really have nothing except for your grades. That is really not good enough. So then again, join the law unions. I've said it. Be part of something. Be part of a committee. Just be part of something, really. That is what I'm saying. Now, same as a law student, what are some of the things that you should know? First, even as lawyers, I mean, everyone is going to ask you for advice. Once they get to know that you are fresh, you are in law school, irrespective of how many lectures in contracts that you have done, they'll be asking you questions on contract. And sometimes, I mean, for the level hundreds who may not have done much, you would have them asking you questions about thoughts and stuff that you are even yet to learn. But you always don't have to answer. I mean, really, that is it. You always don't have to answer. But you would understand that they'll be asking you questions. And I know for some, they do really enjoy that yeah, now people are recognizing where I am. I'm a law student, even though I'm not a lawyer. They see the path. So they're asking me you can enjoy it, but don't let it get into your head, because I mean the legal profession, for the faculties you may survive, but getting into the Ghana School of Law and even coming out is a whole game altogether. Then again, one thing that you should know as a law student is that there's a lot of reading. You just cannot be a law student who doesn't like reading. Then what kind of student are you? You just don't like reading. So if you are yet to get into law school and you don't like reading, please don't come and frustrate yourself, because it is all about reading. I don't think that, the legal education is that difficult. It's just that there's a lot to read. I think that is really the catch. There's a lot to read. It's not that difficult. There's just a lot to read. You would really have to be disciplined to sit down, to go through the many readings. Not too long ago, I asked a dear friend to share some documents with me, and I look at the loads of documents the person was sharing with me. The person is a lot. I'm like, wow. And you have to read all this. If you look at some of the course outlines at the faculty, you would really understand the list of cases. I'm not in any way scaring. I'm just saying that there's a lot to read. So if you are not coming in, brace yourself. If you are in there and you are taking the course leisurely, you are not helping yourself. You are really not helping yourself. Now let me even jump onto this one and say that head notes are good, but they can be very deadly. And now for those that don't know head notes are really, for every case that has been published, should I say, is the term even published? Yes, let's say publish in either the Ghana Law Report or any of the reports. Normally they will give you a summary. So the summary is more like, no, it's the head notes. So once you read the head notes, you should really understand what the whole case is about. That is good, but that is not very good. And if you're a law student and you are used to head notes, I'm advising you, it would not help you. Because even for me, yes, as at the time that I was in law school, I did the 2 years, which was a very crazy period. Now they have changed it, but it was a very crazy period. So you really did not have the time to be going through all these cases. But even now, you have to read them, because you just cannot afford, because you only talk about the head note, and then someone will point you to page 20, where the judge said something different, which may not be in the head note, because the head note is just a summary. So you just cannot be relying on the summaries. Of course, the summary will give you an idea of what the case is about, but sit down and read the full case, because you'll be surprised. In practice, you'll be relying on these same cases. And if you have read them, it becomes easier. It becomes easier. And sometimes most of real life cases are really cases that are just on repeat, because there's really nothing new under the earth. So if you had read all these cases when you were at the faculty, immediately a client starts narrating a case to you, oh, this is Ampon and Ampon, this is that, this is that. It becomes very easy. But if you haven't, you'll be looking at the face for 1 hour, and you still don't know what area of law or what the person is talking about. It's just because you didn't read the full case, so you don't know the full stories. So please read the cases. Head notes are good, but read the cases. Don't be a lazy law student. You are not helping yourself. That you can take it from me. You are not helping yourself, because in practice, you would be forced to read these cases. And at times, you may not have the time to read all these cases. But if you read them, if they became part of you, it's easier. So this whole deal of shortcuts, head notes, summaries, you are really not helping you. You only become a half-baked, lawyer, and you are not helping yourself. So please, another point, and I would even have to mention this. Is it some of our colleagues were just a blessing to us. I mean, let me just confess, because they made notes that saved us. And sometimes, as good as these notes were, they were not made by you, and they were made by certain person that understood what they were doing. So I am summarizing it in a way, because this is what I have. This is what I need to put down. I already have this. But we got these notes, and then we cannot do much about it, because that is what they put together. And sometimes, these notes are inefficient. I mean, even though they have been a blessing to us, make your own notes. You just have no idea how good this. Make your own notes. Make your own note, because when you are preparing for the entrance exams, you would need those notes, and you just cannot afford that you are preparing for entrance and you are not going back to redo everything, read all the cases, all the slides. No, you can't. But if you already have your notes, you just pick them, and then there you go. even in practice, we still have colleagues who are relying on their notes from the faculty because they were that good. We still have, and even for me, we still have notes from colleagues who sat down and made excellent notes for us. I would not want to mention it, but if you're a law student or if you're a lawyer, like a young lawyer like myself, you know, and we are very grateful to these guys. But please make your own notes. You will be saving yourself the stress and I mean and just make your own notes. As simple as that. Now then again, the law is more diverse than I think. The law is not just about wig and gown. Understand? Now for me, I started in the chambers with litigation, all those stuff, and now I'm into corporate practice. I hardly, no, not that hardly. I don't go to the court lately, at least for now. I mean, I don't know for the future, but for now, we haven't had any matter that would require us to be going to court. But when I was at the faculty, I didn't know that you can actually, practice for you. And we actually have lawyers that have practiced for 30 years. They've never stepped foot in the court because that's not where they want to be. You can be in corporate practice. You can, I mean, there are so many fields in the law practice that you can be. It is not only about the wig and then the gown. Of course, on your call to the body, you can enjoy all that moment. But you would come to realize that there's really more to the profession than actually going to court and then arguing and then taking dates for adjournment. So the law is really diverse. But the only problem with you as a law student is that you are many. The opportunities may not be that many. And so companies now have the leisure to choose from a host of lawyers. Now, a company puts in, they are requesting for legal officers. The number of requests that they get, you'll be surprised. But back in the days, it was not like that. But now there are a host of lawyers who are all applying for that one, legal officer position or legal manager position, or however they may want to title that position. So things are really changing. So if you are in the law school and then you are not building your CV up, waiting to come and do that in practice, you are losing out. And I know some of the colleagues, some of our juniors that anytime I see them, I just admire them because they have built their CV up there. They may not have many years in practice, but then they show you their CV on the moot competition that they did. They were on the SRC board and the JRs, the JCR, sorry, the JCR, the law unions, the articles and then the blogs that they've written, excellent, stuff that they have. You'll be surprised. So how can you just be a law student, waiting to, and trust me, and you don't even have experience with internships and you're not bothered, thinking that once you are called to the bar, you would get something to, you'll be surprised. Some of our colleagues not too long were called to the bar and some had to stay in the house for months before getting pupillage. It was not like that in the past, but now that is the reality. That is the reality. So you just don't think that the legal profession is so lavish. So that is why I want to be. There's money there. There's that status ascribed to the profession. You would come in and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. So finally, before I end this session. Oh, before I end this session, managing stress is a skill you need to have. This is so important because the legal education and even the legal profession is a stressful one. It's a very, very stressful one. If you don't know how to manage your stress, you will be in serious trouble. I don't know what you would have to do. So it could be maybe either watching a TV, but make sure, okay, so even at the faculty, no TV, but watching a movie, but make sure you don't watch too many movies because every movie you watch equates to a case that you could have read. But maybe that is you, releasing stress. It could be talking to someone, it could be sleeping, it could be manage your stress very well because if you don't, and then your stress gets the better part of you, how are you going to catch up? You can't afford to get sick. You can't afford to get moody, depressed, and all that. So you would really have to manage your stress. And the load of, the books you have to read, the cases, the articles that you would have to read, if you don't manage your stress very well, you will break down. It is not case that at every break time, you go to the washroom and you are crying because you've not read the cases, you've not read the article, you have no idea what the lecturer is talking about. Who are you helping? You're not helping anybody, and you're not helping yourself. So please, these things are very, very, very important. If you're a law student out there, or if you intend to be a law student, take these things very, very serious. I mean, this is just the first session. We don't want to make it lengthy and all that. I hope I have made it, as interesting as possible. So, guys, thank you very much, and then I'll see you soon. That is another slide. Yes.